Welcome back to Podcast and Amplify. I am really excited to have my guest on today. We are going to be talking about tech systems and all the things on the sort of back end of our businesses that make things happen, the things that actually make sure that we are operating in the way that we need to be. And hopefully it's helping us and making it smoother and make it feel streamlined and less stressful. So Tara Wilder is here today to talk to us about online business tech. So she's an online tech strategist. She helps coaches, consultants, and service providers implement customized systems and automations that take out that chaos. Oh my God, I have to do this and then I have to do that. She puts in all the systems to make it really simple so that you can spend your time on the other parts of your business that are probably more in your zone of genius. But this is Tara's zone of genius. So welcome, Tara, and tell us a little bit more about yourself. I just gave a quick overview of what you do, but I'd love to hear it in your own words.
Thank you so much for having me, Kristen, and everybody who's listening. I'm so excited to be having this conversation because most people would not be excited about talking about tech. So I hope that this rejuvenates or renews or maybe even just brings curiosity and excitement around tech for people. And that was a pretty good description of what we do. Yeah, the tech that we work with are all the tech systems and automations that help run your business operations and marketing. So things like your email funnels, websites, client onboarding, offboarding, things like that. I have an agency called Vivo where we do it for them or with them. And I also have a brand called Conquer Online Business Tech where we actually teach entrepreneurs who may not want to or may not be able to hire someone to do it themselves. I've seen like a lot of people not understand how to do tech. Like their coach may tell them, oh, you need a lead magnet to build your email list and get MailChimp or something. And they're like, okay, but how does it all work? And so I'm like, all right. In these courses, we go step by step. You need your lead magnet created. Here's how you do it. Then you need a form on a page. Here's how you do that. The form needs to be connected, so on and so forth. They know that they need to do these things or be vaguely aware. They're vaguely aware, but don't know how to do it. So I have a lot of fun teaching people who don't understand tech how to do it.
Yeah, and I bet you do because you're such an engaging person and you have a great personality. I'm sure you all can tell that just from this couple of minutes. But as we go through, Tara's just really great to talk to and very open. And you're actually the exact kind of person or personality that I would want teaching me tech.
Oh,
Because
that's
it's
good.
not my thing. And I feel like it would be like a very joyous thing for something that is typically not joyous for me. And I love that you have the two sides of teaching people how to do it themselves and then also it's not your thing and you don't want to do it, let's do it for you. So I think that's really great. Let's talk about a pivotal moment that led you to the Conquer Online Business Tech, the Vivo. Let's talk about what got you here in this moment because I like to hear a little bit of people's backstory. And I think we all have those pivotal moments where we're like, oh, that was the thing that led me here. Moment or moments?
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that because there are two that I can think of. And I think both of them are equally important. So the first one was when I started my business 7.5, almost 8 years ago. And I was 24 years old and I didn't have any business experience. I didn't even have corporate experience really. I worked at a small IT company. And long story short, it wasn't a good fit for me, basically, emotionally and mentally, energetically. And I was like, I should start my own business and I can do this by myself and make unlimited amount of money instead of just being constrained to what my salary was. And I like to say that people should have the confidence of a stupid 24-year-old because I suggested it to my husband and he's okay, sure. We didn't have savings and couldn't exactly go down to one income. We did, obviously. And we're intelligent, like people, college educated, had life experience, but still, we didn't have so much life experience to have that fear of all the things that could go wrong. I like to say, like naive, but not in a bad way. It was just like the naivete of it's the courage that comes with that. So I started the business And I am a completely different person now than I was back then because I've just learned so much, not just in business, but also in my own personal development. I've met so many cool people and it's just been unreal. So I realized that by itself wasn't a story. Like I was on my way home from work crying because my boss said this and that. But I would say that was a big moment, just going, hey, I think I could do this thing. It sounds like fun. I don't know how to do it, but Google is free. I'll figure it out.
I know how to use Google and the internets.
Yeah. And what I did was I didn't know anything about business. So I Googled that. I didn't know anything about online entrepreneurial world, like who Amy Porterfield was and Marie Forleo, things, people like that. And it was just like a series of events that introduced me to eventually Facebook groups for entrepreneurs. You know how everybody back in the day, and probably now, still have their own Facebook groups. And one thing led to another. And here we are. The second pivotal moment was much more recently. So that agency that I had was that I started was En Vivo, and we're still around. We still serve the same people, but it was focused around marketing. So we were doing a lot of what you're doing too, is strategizing with people on their podcasts, but more looking at the whole ecosystem. You described it as an ecosystem to me the other day. And looking at all of that and seeing how content marketing plays into not just your social media, but how it plays with your email marketing and your blogging and all that. I would do strategy. My team and I would create the content and manage it all and do all that stuff. Then a few years in, I was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do anymore. And I was like flirting with that idea. And I tried to pivot in different ways and nothing really felt like a good fit. And then I was like, if I could just do the tech, because people were already hiring me for tech, but we weren't positioning ourselves as a tech company. Then that would be great. I would love to teach and do that. But I was afraid of rebranding myself because everyone knew me as the online marketing girl. And then something happened. I had hired a coach, the same coach for the third time, and had great experience with her each time. And the third time, it was like pulling teeth for myself to get myself to market myself and talk about online marketing. And I'm like, this used to be easy. Why is this not easy? It hasn't been for a couple of years. And I was finally like, the idea of pivoting to tech instead of marketing hit me again. And that time I had zero hesitation. I sent her a Voxer message in the middle of the night and I was like, I don't want to do marketing anymore. I want to do tech. And then the next morning she replied and she's like, there it is. All right, now let's get to
Ding
work.
ding, we have a winner. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know when it's the right thing because you're just unhesitatingly all in and you're like, yes, full body, this is it.
Yes. And I feel like you don't always need that feeling necessarily. It was nice that I did finally, but it's okay to have hesitation. Actually, what led to Conquer Online Business Tech eventually, at the time of recording this, it's been a year since I pivoted to tech. So that was January 2022. And then I was like, I want to teach people. I want the course shop. I want Conquer Online Business Tech. And I was like, I want to get the agency to a certain level. And then, but to be honest, the agency is not at that level. But I was like, heck, I still want to do this shop. So I'm going to do it anyway. And so that's how it got to be here.
Nice. Thanks for sharing your journey with us. And I love the 24-year-old confidence and sometimes have not knowing what you don't know is a blessing, right? Because you can just be blindly ignorant and go into things, but fear is such a factor in a lot of people's journey and holding them back. So even if it's like stupid courage or I don't know, it's maybe not the best way to phrase it, but even if it's just that blind faith, maybe is a
Mm-hmm.
better way to say it. That's to get you to at least over the hump of towards where you want to go or getting on that journey, I think is also really valuable. Well,
And
let's
actually, real quick, just to something you said made me think of this is it's a combination of not knowing what can go wrong and believing in yourself and your ability to figure it out, because that's what I always believed about myself before and still now too, now that I have so much more life experience. And obviously I'm still missing a lot, or I haven't gained a lot of experience. I will 30 years from now, but just having that knowledge, or excuse me, knowing that I can do it. And I believe everybody listening to this is capable of figuring things out. It may look different for everybody, but we're capable of figuring it out. So I didn't have that fear to outweigh my confidence in myself. So it was just confidence. So I think,
Yeah,
and fear can be helpful too.
right. Fear has its place and it's useful, but you're so right. The people that I see who are the most successful, that's really the differentiator. It's that they just believed in themselves. And that's a huge gift if you have that, if you're not struggling with that sense of confidence. So it's great that you had that. Let's pivot a little and let's talk about get into the tech a little bit. So, what are some of the common hurdles that you see when it comes to business owners and them managing their tech or them being frustrated with their tech even?
I would say the biggest hurdle that I have experienced with entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed with their tech, and I'm going to add something to that, feeling like their tech is messy in their business, because if it wasn't messy, they wouldn't feel overwhelmed in most cases. The biggest hurdle is oftentimes that they are giving everything equal priority. So basically, it feels like everything is constantly on fire and everything needs to be fixed now. I need to fix my website and my Calendly or my appointment booking tool and my invoicing and my contracting. All of it needs to be done right now. Then what that causes is that they may not have the funds to literally outsource everything, and they don't have the time or energy or emotional space to take it all on themselves. And so they become paralyzed and overwhelmed and they don't do anything. Or they try to do some of it, but because they have that overwhelm in their brains and frustration, they create something that's messy or halfway done, and it's not serving them at all anyway. So I would say that overwhelm and frustration leads them to giving everything equal priority and then nothing ending up done in the end.
Yeah, it's just like all chaos
It's just
and
chaos.
just frustration and kind of half-assed done. So how
Yeah.
can we go from that overwhelmed, this is not working, it's not great. How can we go from that to having a better relationship with our tech so that it doesn't feel like this uphill battle?
So the very first thing is to just clear your energy or mind or overwhelm, work on that emotional and mental state you're in right now. And not just in this moment, but just overall. It's like a level of accepting that it is what it is right now. So that way you can at least release some of it as you're going into the next phase to actually get something done, which is to prioritize. And the reason why I'm approaching this one as something difficult to do is because I've spoken with people and my own clients too, where I've been like, okay, let's prioritize. And when you're getting further down the list, they're like, okay, this thing is item number 10, but it's still important. And I'm like, well, yeah, it is important. Lower priority does not mean less important. It's just we literally cannot do 15 things at once. So we got to pick something to do. So prioritizing is really important. If you have a hard time with prioritizing 1 through 10 or however many projects you have that need to be done, then think of it more as breaking it into 3 categories, like priority A, priority B, priority C. So that way, like, you're tricking your mind into thinking priority, since you're already equaling or equating priority, the word priority, with the word important. Just be like, these are 3 different types of importances. And I'm going to work on list A first. So, seriously being honest with yourself about what needs to be done first, and then do that.
Yeah, I think that can set you up for good time management, good
Mhm.
focus,